Hi, welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. I'm Lisa Curcio. It seems this time of year is baby season. I don't know about you, but with our family and friends, it seems like this time of year all the babies are being born. And I thought that you could use a congratulations or a welcome baby card, but I wanted to put a little spin on it. I have a fun new slide card technique to teach you today in the video, and it only involves 2 punches and a little bit of paper, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised on how easy it comes together. Quick glimpse at this card and a little slide here at the bottom to pull it and make it move, and I'll show you a little bit closer in a few minutes. I want to thank my friend Jill George. She's an amazing technical card guru, and she came up with this, and I think it's pretty brilliant, and I'm really excited to share it with you. Don't forget, I offer studio stamps in the mail, so you can stamp with me from home. It includes a stamp set, a PDF tutorial with step-by-step instructions with pictures and all the pre-cut supplies and accessories. Head over to my blog to the online classes tab. While you're there, feel free to check out my PDF library. I've got lots of great things in there for you, including more creative creases and fancy fold cards. Let's get over to the stamp table and let's get started. I'm going to give you a good close-up of the slider card now. So the pocket for the piece is here, and then as you pull, it slides across the card. You may think this is difficult, but I think you're going to be surprised at how easy it is. So let's get started. I'm going to use a half a sheet of Blushing Bride cardstock. This measures 4 1/4 by 11. I like to use my bone folder to get a nice crisp crease, so we're going to fold that in half. I want to emboss the front of the card. So the words indicate the top of the embossing folder, and I'm going to slip that in. Now, I'm going to tell you that if you close it here, you're going to have a small section here that doesn't get embossed. So I'm actually going to move this all the way up to here to make sure I get it all the way on the crease. The beauty of the cardstock being cut the lengthways is it'll fit through the Big Shot nicely. So here I have my Big Shot. We are on a tab 1. I'm going to put a clear mat on the bottom to protect it, and then my cardstock that's prepped in the folder here. Now remember, we have to put this part where the clear mat is. The excess underneath we don't need to worry about. It's just going to hang over. It's not in the folder. And then all you're going to do is you're just going to crank this through. Okay, so I'm taking this apart and undoing this, and you're going to see now we've got a really nice design all the way to the edge. It's just a great tip with your embossing folders. If you're wanting to make sure the pattern goes all the way to the edge, cut your cardstock the long way. You'll need the 1-inch circle punch, and this is where we're going to make a hole for the actual slide. Slide the punch in all the way. I left, I would say maybe a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch on the right side, and you're going to punch out your circle. The word window punch, we're going to use that to make the track. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to come over to the edge. I'm going to say about the same amount of distance from the edge, so about 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to punch. So this is what you're going to end up with, these 2 circles. So the track and the hole for the slide. I've also cut a piece of Whisper White cardstock. This measures 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4, and that's going to be the piece of paper that slides through the track. From the stamp set tin of cards, I am using the words hello and baby, and I'm going to show you because it's photopolymer. I actually mounted them on the block at the same time. Boy, this saves time. So I put the hello down on my grid paper. That helps me to line it up, and then I stuck the baby on right next to it, and I tested it to make sure it looked pretty good, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I'm going to go ahead and use my hexagon punch to create my banner tip. And if you've not seen this before, this little point right here is just a gem. I'm going to slide my paper in, and I'm going to look for that point to be visually up the center of my cardstock, and I'm just going to squeeze, and it gives you a perfect banner tip every time. I'm going to use the basic gray ink pad and my Hello Baby text, and I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp it right here near the end of my banner. Okay, the banner is finished, and now I have a piece of white cardstock that measures 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. You don't have to worry about writing all this down. I actually put it all on my blog for you along with still photos so you can get all the measurements in one place and pictures. I'm going to use the stamp set Something for Baby, and I'm going to use the stroller. Really cute, isn't it? So I've mounted my stroller on my clear block. I'm going to start with Smoky Slate ink pad, and I am going to ink that up. And I am going to stamp that inside the square. Now I'm going to tell you right now it's a tight fit, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to have more room for the slide. I had to get my head in the camera so I can get in there, guys. Sorry. All right, and I'm gonna press. Okay, so now I have my stroller. I'm gonna use that exact same image, but this time I'm gonna use it in the Blushing Bride ink, and I'm gonna stamp it on a scratch piece of paper, and I'm after just the top of the stroller this time, here. Because we're gonna fussy cut that and layer it. The 3D effect on this is really cute. Did you happen to notice this? In the stamped image, there are little perforated dots on the hood of the stroller. But because Lisa's got a really juicy ink pad, you see how they didn't come out? Let me show you a trick. I don't ever throw these images away if I need to add detail, because that's where the white gel pen comes in really handy. So let me show you. Make sure you've got a scrap piece of cardstock nearby. And I just happen to have a piece of smoky slate, and I'm going to make sure my gel pen is flowing. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to make small dots literally right over where those marks were intended to be. The nice thing is, even though they filled in, it's left a small shadow there. I'm going to get that rolling again. It's left a small shadow there so that I know where the dots are supposed to be. And so I can just go right down inside of there and fill that in. And look, it looks exactly as if it was stamped that way. It's a great way to fix those little imperfections. Gel pen is a great thing. Let that dry for just a second, and I'm going to cut a piece of smoky slate cardstock, and this measures 2.5 by 3, and that's actually going to get mounted on here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that while my gel pen is drying. Little snail adhesive on the back, and that'll go here. Okay, I think we're good. I'm going to get out my paper snips. Now, I know you're probably thinking you could use a framelit. Yeah, I could, but you know what? That cuts out the whole thing, and I only need the top half. So I figured, you know what? I'm just going to fussy cut this tiny bit. There are framelits for the stamp set, which I love. So you're going to want to purchase those together so that you don't have to fussy cut all these images. And it's really perfect for the stroller since it cuts out the wheels so nicely. It's perfect circles. I hear that most of you don't like cutting around a circular image. It is hard. Okay, so here we've got our stroller top. I'm going to flip that over. I'm going to grab my dimensionals, and I'm going to put a few dimensionals on the back of this image. I'm going to put one here, and then one down here. And then I'm going to mount this directly over the top of the gray image. Isn't that cute? Okay, so it's got to have a little pizzazz. So I decided to add some rhinestones because I totally love rhinestones. And what baby buggy can't use a little bling, right? So I'm going to take my rhinestones from here with my piercing tool. Remember, they already have glue dots on the back. And I'm going to add a rhinestone in the little wheel well there, and another one on here. And I'm going to add one here as well. So I'm going to add that here. It just gives our buggy just a little bit of bling. Shows up that smoky slate cardstock really nicely, doesn't it? So now we're going to assemble. That's really how easy this is. The banner or the slide goes through the front of the hole. And then what you're going to see here is you're going to see that you're going to want to bring the cardstock so that you can't see it in the window. I'm visually looking to make sure that this is centered inside that circle. And right here, you're going to use one dimensional. Now these are hexagon shapes. So you're going to want to make sure that you have the straight edge at the bottom and a straight edge at the top. And that's so this will slide properly. I'm going to peel this off. My image is going to go right here on the top, and I'm going to mount it near the edge. Okay, and then watch. Now the first time you pull, you got to get the dimensional going. There we go. We have to cover this because this is kind of yucky looking, isn't it? So what I did is I cut another piece of the exact same color paper, Blushing Bride, 4 by 5 1/4. And because I don't want to press down on the track, I'm going to add a dimensional in each of the 4 corners of the cardstock here. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, and then 4. We're going to take off that paper backing. Remember, don't forget, I offer studio stamps in the mail. So if you want to stamp with me from home, head over to my blog and click on the online classes tab to get all the information on how you can get a stamp set and all the pre-cut supplies and a PDF tutorial. This then is going to go over here. And I'm just going to lightly press. The great thing about this is now the inside of your card looks all finished, but yet it doesn't inhibit the slide of the card. And I want to put something in on the inside. I'm going to go back to that basic gray ink pad, and I'm using the words, "Welcome to the World," and that is from Happy Happenings stamp set. We're going to ink those up. I'm going to stamp those right here. Back to the Blushing Bride cardstock, this little tiny heart is also in the stamp set, Something for Baby. I just love this little set. I'm going to give that a little tap, and I thought it could use a little heart right there. I'm going to add a little snail adhesive on the back side of that, and that's going to be for the inside of our card here. This is 4 by 5 1/4. There you go. We've got a finished card. See, I told you it was easier than you thought. Isn't this a lot of fun? Remember to head over to my blog where all the dimensions are printed for you. Here's the one we made today, and here's the one I made previously. Lots of fun and really kind of a fancy slider, isn't it? I am so glad you joined me, and I look forward to seeing you next time for another video. Have a great day, everybody.